What's up, Trad Nation? This is
Breaking Trad.
All right, welcome back to another episode of Breaking Trad. I'm Alan.
And I'm Matt.
Alameda. And I'm Brittany.
Are you sure?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So today we are doing a podcast remote via Zoom due to the fact that my house is ridden with COVID. It's all Amanda's fault. We'll just blame her. But anyways, we're still gonna have a good time, guys. We're going ready to go. We had a few issues in the beginning, but now we're getting it going good. Brittany, what do you got going on there?
I'm putting my questions up.
Oh, questions. You got the questions. Solid. You guys doing all right tonight, right?
Yes. We don't have the COVID.
Mm-mm. Not yet,
Wow.
anyway.
Yeah, they've been very close to me.
Hopefully it stays away.
So I guess we'll just get the ball going.
Okay.
So our guest today, which you've probably seen him several times already, he keeps coming in, which is fine. He recently won the 2022 Triple Crown for the IBO, also made the stage in Lancaster, coming in 8th place. Followed that up with a 3rd place finish at NFAA Nationals and 3rd overall at Trad Worlds. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Jared Mullis. Jared, how are you, buddy?
Oh, I'm good. I'm good. Better than you guys sitting over there with COVID and stuff.
I appreciate it, man. You're really good. Like we've already went through this, and we apologize again. But like you fall right in there, you're good to go, gung ho.
I just want to say, like, we this is our first time. Like, we've made it this whole time without having it.
When did COVID start? 2019.
I don't know, but
The end of 2019.
I really thought like we were just never gonna get it.
Yeah, never gonna get it. Never gonna get it.
I
But I
can't
can tell
remember
you,
when
like,
they made it in that factory, but
Hellacious, though.
When it started running rampant.
Well, so we got COVID, but you are in your truck and you're ready to go. How's life treating you now, man?
That's good, man. Other than busted up leg, I decided to fall out of the back of my truck the other day at work and boogered my leg up pretty bad. So
Dang.
other than that, it's good. Shooting, I was looking forward to shooting this weekend, but that didn't happen. Obviously, that's not gonna work out.
Every time you mention it, I can see the disappointment in your face, and I feel bad for you,
Especially with
man.
it being your last tournament for the season, like that sucks. I feel like we're missing a couple of things, but not like that's a big one for you. I know.
Yeah. Oh yeah. IBO Worlds is probably one of the ones I wasn't going to go to it. And then I've just been making progress all year, working on different things. And since Trad Worlds, I've really been grinding out my form and doing drills and stuff and trying to set this mindset of how I'm going to go in there and do well. So to not be able to go is kind of it's a bummer. I mean, now it's just over with.
Yeah, that sucks. I know we just missed. Well, we're gonna miss one this weekend. We just missed our home club shoot. But
We were gonna go to the Panhandle 50 down in Pensacola, but it doesn't look like we'll be over it since it's moving through the rest of the household now.
you can just come down here and shoot with us, man. We got one more in
I need
September.
to do something, man. I'm not ready to be done yet.
Gotcha.
And we got several.
I think the last one for the
Mhm.
club is in September.
Yeah.
Next month.
And then it'll be over.
You guys are a long way from me, though, man. Indiana's the middle of nowhere, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're not close.
There is that one in Louisiana in October.
oh, that's way closer
That's
to
even
Indiana.
further. Yeah.
I mean, I know, but y'all are like, oh, it's September and it's over. And I'm like, but there's Louisiana.
Hey, I'll tell you the same thing I tell my wife and my whole family. If you want to make plans, make sure it's not October, November, or December because I will not be there.
Yeah. You're gonna be in the woods.
Yeah, I've missed my own birthday parties because I will not be there. I'm sorry. I can't do it.
I mean, you know.
Well, so unfortunately, it happens to everybody. We do what we have to do as far as missing and all that, and it really sucks. But we got a few questions we're going to throw your way, and I think Matt's going to get us started.
So how long you been shooting overall?
Overall, man, I've been shooting a bow for over 20 years, 20 something years. I started with a hunting compound because I used to watch my uncles shoot in the backyard. And I was like, man, that really looks fun. And then next thing you know, I got one, and I'm really competitive. So I'm like, I want a target bow and I want to start shooting targets. So locally, I started doing it probably 2002, 2001, something like that. And then I started branching out, doing some IBO stuff and some ASA stuff, and just got into bare bow about 2 years ago.
So is there anything specific that got you into the traditional side, or does your uncle shoot both? Or
well, I had my little shop. I've shot traditional for a really long time, never consistently all the time or full blown traditional, and I'm still not. Oh my God, you got to have a recurve longbow. I'm an archery lover. Like, you give me a brand new bow, a crossbow that runs on air, I'm going to shoot it because I like watching an arrow fly. Like, I love archery in general. I would say 2006, my local archery ranges had this group of older guys that I still talk to. I mean, they were in their 70s back then, shooting, wooden bows and bamboo laminated longbows. And I was like, man, that's just really, really fun. And they were grouping, like this at 20 yards. And they thought it was like God's gift. They're like, that's the best shooting you could ever ask for. And I'm like, man, like, let me pick that up. Let me try that. And I was naturally just good at it. So I tinkered for a long time. And then I got into some local tournaments in trad, shooting, my old widows and stuff. And I said, man, I can do better than that. Like, I need to step it up. I want to be shooting against the best of the best, So right. I made the switch to bare bow in 2000 or 20, what was it, 2020 or 2021? And just started shooting the IBO stuff.
Okay, so you say you made the transition into bare bow. So you and I both we spoke a little bit, and we talked about the transition being leap and bounds from my perspective, because I'm more of a traditional shooter. We all are, right? So
right.
What my question is for you, when you made that transition, how big of a jump was it from trad to bare bow? Because I know there's certain aspects that are different. Like, we all shoot off the shelf. We all we don't crawl. There's our arrows are set up between 20-25 yards as a point on, compared to where you have a 35 or 40 yard point on, and you have a 3/4 of an inch crawl, that kind of thing. How big of a transition was it for you to make that jump from trad to bare bow?
It was easy for me. It was easier to go from trad to bare bow than it was for me to go from compound to trad, because being a compound archer and being just an archer in general, like, I loved the accuracy of a compound, aiming, the technical side of it, getting really in depth with what's going to make me more accurate. So going from a wooden bow like my widow to a bare bow was more in my wheelhouse. Like, I can have a lot more to do with how this bow tunes that way, with an ILF rig or with a rest and a plunger, stuff like that. It took about a month before I was really comfortable with it.
Yeah.
But I picked it up really easily. And I mean, I remember the last tournament I shot before I shot bare bow. It was at a TAS World Shoot. And Dwayne Martin was there. What's that?
The Hoosier Club, right?
No, it was at one of the Hoosier places, but it was the TAS, the Traditional Archery Association, or whatever it stands for.
Gotcha.
I don't know. We don't go to those anymore. Those things don't exist around here anymore.
I got you.
But Dwayne Martin was there, and he's the best 3D bare bow guy that there is. I mean, a lot of people can, argue that John Demmer or whatever. Dwayne Martin is the best, most accomplished bare bow 3D archer that there is. And I was shooting a Hoisatory off the shelf in a different class, and he's like, I'm going to keep your guys' score. And I got nervous. I mean, he probably remembers this. I looked at him and I'm like shaking. I'm like, holy cow. Like, why is this guy? Like, why? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then the next time I saw Dwayne Martin, I was shooting against him at Winter Nationals, like 4 months later, and I happened to beat him. I won that shoot. And then I got a reality check that, hey, like, it's not that easy. Like, you got lucky this time. You know, it's go time, because there's a lot of good shooters in this class.
I got you.
I mean, a lot.
Yeah.
Well, so okay, all right. I want to talk about the transition still. I know you said it's not that easy. I want to talk about aiming for just a split second as far as one thing. And this is me personally being curious in regards to the transition or from bare bow to traditional. But with my high anchor point, I'm aiming down the shaft. I'm aiming point on at 20 yards, right? What kind of crawl do you have for a 20-yard shot point on?
I am 8 big marks down on a Yoast for my 20-yard shot. Down near the bottom of the tab.
Oh, wow. So you're way down there. And you got a lower anchor point too down here, yeah?
Yeah, I anchor index finger down low.
Okay.
But I've got I'm close to 65, 70 meter point on if I go finger on the nock. But I'm shooting a lot of weight in a super light arrow, really long draw length. So.
And you got those, like, what's that, albatross? Got the albatross.
Wow, am I impressed? Does anybody know what an albatross is?
I do, but I don't know where that has to do with anything with archery, but that's cool.
I'm just talking about as far as, like, because you're pulling so much weight, you've got a huge wingspan, so you got
a longer draw length.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got a super long draw length. I shoot about 31.5-inch draw length. So
hey, when we get done, you need to tell me what an albatross is. All right, go ahead.
Hey Siri, what's an albatross, and why does it have to do with archery?
Who's got number 2?
That would be Brittany.
That's me. Sorry, I had to work for a half a second.
Don't tell. She's lying. She's Googling albatross.
I was gonna give you the definition.
Brittany's like, oh yeah, I know what it is.
I do. I
Somebody-
shoot a bird.
Somebody give these ladies some robot tests and get them out of here. Let's come on. Let's talk about archery.
Okay. So we saw you on the stage at Lancaster. We seen you in Ohio at the Barebow Boot Camp, and then and at Trad Worlds, but most recently, Ellen, I can't with you.
Ellen wrote the questions. You know, it's gonna not.
You just gotta read it verbatim. You just gotta read it verbatim.
No, I can't. You did that 2 times.
Sorry. You got it? You want me to do it?
Yeah, no, I got it.
All right, go for
Anyway,
it.
so we saw you on the stage at Lancaster. We saw you in Ohio at the Barebow Boot Camp, and then we saw you at Trad Worlds most recently. So we had an opportunity to talk to you for a little bit, and one of the topics that we discussed was that you were putting in the work, and how you had mentioned that you practice everything. You spend time picking up your bow. So tell us a bit. Tell us a little bit.
Tell us how you albatross.
I thought Alex Melnick was here for a little bit. She goes, tell me a little bit about that. You know?
I know, right? Oh my Lord. Okay.
Oh man. All right.
Tell us what kind of work that you put into perfecting your
shooting,
your shot.
Well, recently it's been a lot. It's been a lot different than what I've spent the last 2 years doing. You know, like the last 2 years, especially the first year, was all about just arrows, shooting arrows. But they weren't good arrows. They weren't good shots. And then you get into the tuning and stuff like that. You're always looking for another point. The hardest thing that I've ever done has been the last month, and even the month before that. Like, you know, I'm not tuning my bow anymore. My bow is tuned. I am a good shot. I'm a decent shot. But I tend to mess things up with my head. My mind gets in the way of things.
Mm-hmm.
I show up a tournament and I want to win. I can get the lead on somebody, and then I start thinking about what they're doing, and then I lose track of what I'm doing. So, you know, I've been doing drills lately that consist of literally setting my bow down, picking my bow up, grabbing my bow, addressing the string, getting to anchor, getting to expansion, and letting down. I mean, I've probably shot 15 arrows since Trad Worlds out of my bare bow, and I bet you I've had it in my hand for 8 to 9 hours since then. Literally just doing drills, just getting everything down in my head, grinding out what my shot feels like, what every part of what I'm doing needs to feel like, so that if I don't do it, I can pick it out instantly what I didn't do. Because that happened to me at Team USA trials. I was having some issues. I went into there shooting really good, got there, and just I had, one arrow would be good, one arrow wouldn't. One arrow would be good, one arrow wouldn't. And I couldn't figure it out all day until after dinner. I found out, like, I went to the bags and I realized, man, your hand was just a little bit off. You're getting a little too much pressure in your palm, or you're getting a little too much pressure in the throat of your grip. Like, that little bit right there cost me a lot of points. So it's expensive to go to these shoots and show up just to shoot like crap because you shot like crap.
Yeah.
Yes, I did.
I mean, at Trad Worlds, my yardage is on. I judge yardage all the time, so like I'm really good at judging yardage. I made it through the first part of the weekend great. I qualified second under Dwayne, and then I went into Sunday with a different mentality. Like, hey, you're 6 hours from home. You've spent a lot of money this weekend. You're not here to be friends with Dwayne or to be friends with Lee Wilkins or Jeremy Stout or anybody. You're here to shoot your bow. Like, I have ADHD really bad. Like right now, I'm already thinking about something besides what I'm talking about. But I needed to focus. I needed to tell myself, like, hey, you're there to shoot your bow. That's your job. That's why you're here. You spend all this money to shoot. Like, you don't have to come to these things to be friends with people. So I started off like that Sunday morning, and the first 10 targets, I think I shot like 6 11s the first 10 targets, and closed my gap on Dwayne. And then next thing you know, I'm kind of like joking a little bit and shooting a few 8s because I'm not really paying attention. And then by the end of the tournament, I'm laughing, joking with all these guys, and I'm shooting like crap. I went from second place to first place to second place to third place because I wasn't focused on what I was there to do. So I said when I got back, I'm not going to tune my bow. My bow's tuned. It's fine. Everything is great when I do my part. So I'm literally just working on my part.
Well,
and if that takes an hour a day doing drills, I'm going to do it.
But to me, like, I understand that mentality because this is a conversation Amanda and I both have had, and I think we all at some point have had. But being better than we were yesterday and trying to perfect and doing everything we need to do to pick our game up. But like, I wouldn't sell yourself short by any means whatsoever. I mean, okay, let's just say you're in the top 3, but who was the other 2? Who was
Dwayne Martin and Lee Wilkins.
Oh, see, there you go. That's my point right there, man. You are you're doing everything you're supposed to be doing, even when you are cutting up and having a good time. And your shots, you may feel like you're off, but you're still in the top 3. You know what I mean? And they could have had a good day or a bad day too. But I think you're capable.
I mean that makes sense, man. But I'm not one to bullshit, dude. Like, I'm there to win.
Right.
And Dwayne will tell you. Dwayne told me, and he told several other people. He said Jared had me beat. Jared had me beat, but he beat himself because he got in his head, and I did. I literally got in my head. I started counting numbers, started trying to think about what I had over this person or over that person, and then again, I took my mind off of I'm here to shoot this bow 40 good shots and win this tournament. I went from that to now we're all having a good time. Dwayne has been doing this long enough. 20 years. He's been doing this long enough that he can have a great time and still focus enough to win. I can't. I need to work on being able to win, and then I'll focus on being able to have a good time while winning. You know what I mean? So, but anybody. Go ahead.
So I just want to point out that some people think that level of competition, or at that level of competition, the seriousness, that it takes the fun out of it. But if you're humble enough to determine that you yourself, you need to reel it in or bring yourself in and do what you got to do, and that's what's going to make you better. Then nobody can judge that aspect of it. You know what I mean?
Right. I bet you our group had more fun than any other group. Right. It was a great time. It was a great group of people. We were laughing. We were cutting it up, and that's awesome. But
Yeah.
It didn't
I
get
wasn't
you
there to
win.
do that, you know?
Yeah.
Right.
I wasn't there to do that. And I let myself do that. And I'm too easily distracted from what I'm there to do. And that's what I've been really working on. And hopefully it'll pay off. You know, I was looking forward to this weekend a lot, but you know, it is what it is. I'll keep grinding that out. I don't need to shoot arrows. I can let go of an arrow just as good as anybody else. It's all the stuff that happens before that matters.
So would you say that the picking up the bow, you know, and not shooting, the drills that you're running, is that more for like technique, or is that more to help your mental game? And if not, what is your, like, what are you doing to try to perfect that mental aspect, like that mental game?
Anybody
Great.
that knows me will tell you that I
Great
have
question.
the mental capacity of like a 3-year-old. So, yeah, you know,
I hear that a lot too. It's okay.
I'm doing it for both, really. It's helping me with my technique, but I feel like if something's inground in you, then you don't have to worry about it anymore. You know what I mean? You know how to grab the bow exactly,
Becoming a
and
habit.
it sounds so stupid and elementary. Like, I mean, when I grab my drink, I know how to grab a drink. I can probably do that the exact same time or the exact same way again. But if I grab it over here, it's a little different. With a bow, you grab it here versus here. That's complete. That's the difference between an 11 and an 8 right there. You know,
Right.
I mean, it's literally ingraining every part of your sequence so that when the time comes that you're stressed out, which everyone has seen me do at Lancaster. I mean, I was shooting solid at Lancaster. I started off okay. Again, got in the lead and then fell apart because I had nothing to lean back on. And I had told my coach at Lancaster, I said, hey, if I look at you, tell me to pull through my shot. That's all I need you to do is tell me to pull through my shot. Next thing you know, I'm back here and I'm doing this because I'm not pulling through my shot.
Classic.
I swore to myself, I'll never do that again. I will never let myself fail because I was too stupid not to know what I was doing.
Right. Or doing what you're supposed to do. I mean, you
So
know,
it's like you're trying to retrain, like muscle memory. You're trying to make sure.
Yeah,
you're
to an
doing
extent, that's
everything
exactly
right.
what it is.
Yeah.
no,
Yeah,
I,
so you know, John Dimmer told me one time, and then he's told Dwayne Martin, and Dwayne Martin's told me a million times. When in doubt, the best thing that you can do is shoot for form. Shoot for your form. Shoot for perfect shots. No matter where the arrow goes, it's going to go in the middle if you make a great shot. So I tried that at Trad Worlds, but I didn't keep that mentality. So you know, next time I find myself in a situation, I'm literally going to do nothing but shoot for form. I mean, I don't care where the arrow goes. If I can't make a good shot, then the arrow ain't going to go where I want it to anyways.
right.
Makes sense.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So, I don't know where are we at in as far as time goes, guys.
That's a really good question. I don't have a clue. We should have probably
No.
started a timer.
No time of reference.
We're at about 7% batteries where we're sitting at.
Okay.
So,
Well, dude,
There's one question.
yeah, there's one more question. Do you want it?
Sure. I'll take
So-
okay. So if there was any advice, why are you looking at me like that?
Great question, honey. Go ahead.
I thought he was
Okay.
leaning in.
I know he looked really serious. Weirded me out. So if there was any advice that you could give a new shooter, what would that be? Like, what would you tell them would be the one thing that's going to help them get started off on the right foot?
Find somebody that knows what they're talking about. Find somebody that has experience. And never be afraid to ask for help because that's the way I got into it. I bought a WF riser and I was instantly calling Dwayne. He had no idea who I was, but I'm like, hey, how do you do this? How do you do that? Always ask if you don't know.
Yeah.
Always ask. I mean, never be afraid to ask somebody because in this game, I mean, there's so much knowledge out there that people are willing to share. But I mean, more important than that, honestly, I look at don't trust arrow charts. That's my number one thing. I hate it.
I agree.
I'm a long draw guy, and I've never been able to trust an arrow chart in my life. So if you see an arrow chart, run and go ask somebody that knows.
So
what they're
talking about that, let's. I just want to touch base on that real quick. All right. So what's your white pull? What's your pull at 29.5? Is that what you're running?
Weight?
Yeah, your draw. You're 29,
my
29.
my draw weight, I'm about 47 pounds.
So you're running 47. What kind of arrow are you shooting?
I'm shooting a 500 spine 3D HP with 90 grains up front.
What does the chart say?
The chart says I should be in something stupid like a 400 or a 300 or some junk like that.
See, I agree. I've always been told I should be running 6s with a little more weight or a little less weight on the front, but I'm having to shoot. I shoot 7s and they shoot like darts. But as long as my form's good, they shoot like they're supposed to. If I'm collapsing or whatever, it's trash.
Right. Right.
But I agree. Find an arrow that works. Don't look at the chart. You see a chart, run, right?
Right. I mean, how many trad people do you see that just got into it that have a quiver full of 1,000 arrows and none of them match? And those are the guys that get pissed off because they can't hit anything. Well, I'm sorry.
Right. Well,
yeah, it's funny because we all have quivers full of arrows that do not match.
But in our defense, it's because we have lots of kids who we let shoot our arrows and then end up with a bunch of mismatched.
As I was about to say, it's funny you say that. We all have quivers with like an 8-inch, insert or whatever, and they're just full of random arrows.
Give me a minute to get my foot out of my mouth and we'll be all right. No, seriously, like, you have to have a tuned bow. It's what it is, man. I couldn't imagine going back to a tournament and not having at least 5 or 6.
I think you roboted on us.
I mean, I was that guy.
We're losing you.
Did we lose you?
Me?
Yeah, you started cutting out a little bit.
It almost sounded like some hillbilly backroads song.
How dare you talk to him that way?
Why would you say that to me? Don't you ever talk to me that way again. I was so excited, and you guys have downgraded me. You've degraded me all day.
Well,
he had to pull
Yeah.
He had to pull to a strip club parking lot just to talk to us.
Hey, he had to leave.
What happens at Trad World stays at Trad Worlds, dude.
That's right.
My wife's probably going to watch that. My wife's going to see this, and now I appreciate you for making me sleep on the couch for that. Thanks a lot,
Jared, let me find a good way out of this conversation and say thanks for coming on the show. We appreciate it, man.
Yeah. Thanks for sticking with us through our trial and error in the beginning anyway.
Yeah, this is new to us. Like I said, we're all around the table and we're doing it audio. This is the first time for all this. So again, appreciate you hanging in there and working through it with us.
Well, I appreciate you guys having me. Thank you.
Hey man, thanks. We will hopefully see you soon. Hopefully we can I know that you ain't unfortunately going to make it to Trad World or IBO World, but maybe we can see you in Lancaster if not before then.
Oh yeah, we'll be there. We'll be there for sure.
All right, man. Solid.
All right, good luck everybody.
See you, man.
Bye.
See ya.
Guys, we're glad you could join us for this week's episode of Breaking Trad. We hope you had as much fun as we did.
You can catch the show on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, iHeartRadio, TuneIn, Spotify, and wherever you get your podcasts.
You can contact us at breakingtradpodcast@gmail.com or on Facebook at breakingtradal and on Instagram at breaking_trad. And don't forget to check out our YouTube channel.
Remember to subscribe and follow us. That way you'll get notifications every time we drop a new episode.
Join us next week, and remember,
Make every shot count.